Crimson Peak is a classic Gothic romance, and it's basically the age-old story of a young woman falling in love, traveling to a distant, crumbling residence, and uncovering a secret in her lover's past.
Guillermo Del Toro is probably, if not definitely, the primary interpreter of Gothic romance in contemporary cinema. There is something singular and unique about his vision, his fingerprint as an artist, and his ability essentially to make stories that seem to deal with the supernatural, that deal with ghosts, and make them intensely, emotionally real.
He's very emotional and very instinctive and responsive. I never would have thought this was a film that was kind of always evolving, because we had a rehearsal period and we would read the scripts and the scenes and talk about things, but then, and I thought that was kind of it, but then when we got on set and he sort of would see how we were playing things and see how the dynamics were coming out between the characters, he then would kind of like, or, you know, comments that people would make, he would then kind of like get really hooked on certain things that people would say and comments that were made, and then he'd kind of go away and at night and come back the next day and be like, I had an idea, and the whole thing would just keep changing.
What I love about this film so much to do is that the female roles are complex and really interesting, and we're not just serving another story of the film. I love working with women. I love movies about women. I mean, of course, the male roles in this are great as well, but everyone's role is equally great. I mean, the Dr. McMichael, Thomas Sharp, Edith, Lucille, Cushing, everyone, when you work with Guillermo as an actor, you know you're going to show up and you're going to have something interesting to do. And you're not going to be a prop to a story. You're going to actually participate in the telling of it.
Crimson Peak should not be confused with a horror film for me. It is a Gothic romance. Now, Gothic romance is a very time-honored tradition that skates really close to horror. It can have ghosts. It can have crumbling castles. It can have the trappings of a horror film or a horror story, but it's ultimately a journey through the story of a love affair or a love story, you know? You journey through the trappings of the Gothic, which is virginal central character transiting through a world of darkness, discovering a secret, a treasure, or a dark past, and emerging on the other side transformed.